This video is sponsored by Micro Center. Micro Center is one of the best places to shop for all of your technology needs. Desktops, laptops, computer components, monitors, TVs, networking equipment, you name it. You'll find the best prices available whether you're looking online or in the stores for in-store pickup. I actually built my first PC at Micro Center and owe it a bit of a thanks for helping start this career. The Houston location was a bit of a home for me, and I actually would create a couple of my other builds at that same Micro Center as well. Micro Center even wants to offer new customers a free SSD. Just see the link in the description for more information. Also, make sure to check the pinned comment and the description for more information about Micro Center. Thanks for sponsoring this video, Micro Center. And back to the video, detectives. Harry Potter, a global phenomenon that has to date sold over 450 million copies worldwide and is translated into 80 different languages. The series has gone on to widely successful films as well that have grossed over $7.7 billion. Despite this massive success, the Harry Potter franchise's success in the video game world has been way more limited, with most of the game's releases for the IP just being movie companion-style games and admittedly kick-ass LEGO games. Harry Potter hasn't seen the online world yet, besides a browser game that sort of faded into obscurity before being shuttered and turned into the current Wizarding World website. A story for another time, surely. Well, until Niantic would team up with Warner Bros. And Portkey Games to create a Harry Potter mobile augmented reality game meant to capitalize on the great success of Niantic's other stablemate, Pokemon Go, who was revolutionizing the AR gaming world. Unfortunately, unlike its bigger brother, Harry Potter Wizards Unite, as the AR title would be dubbed, would launch June 2019, and after a mere 2 years and some change, the title would be already announced to be shutting down. With no reasons mentioned for the shuttering, fans and onlookers alike can only really speculate and form their own conclusions, which is kind of what we're set to do here on the Death of a Game Post-Mortem series, where we cover dead or dying games and outline the largest contributing factors for such by obtaining clues and evidence along the way for a final deduction at the end of the video. With Harry Potter Wizards Unite set to shut down in early 2022 for good, what went wrong with a title that was designed to grab some of the success of Pokemon Go? How did Harry Potter Wizards Unite fail to garner an audience, with the massive backing of Warner Bros., the Harry Potter IP, and Niantic, all titans of their own industries? Grab your phones, you guys still have those, right? And get ready for this one-of-a-kind, first-of-a-kind adventure in the series, as we both cover our very first mobile game and augmented reality game. The story of Harry Potter Wizards Unite starts back on November 8th of 2017, where Niantic would announce they would be teaming up with Warner Bros., announcing a partnership set to create a new AR mobile game. The announcement itself was pretty thin. I mean, I can't even pretend it doesn't read like basically, we at Niantic do nice high-tech shit, and Harry Potter is just super popular. That's basically what it says. Niantic teaming up with the Harry Potter franchise meant that they would be working with Portkey Games, the development studio created by Warner Bros. For the purpose of Harry Potter-themed games, mostly mobile games. Money signs had to be on the minds of the aforementioned parties, with such a popular franchise and Niantic teaming up, coming off the mega success of Pokemon Go, which launched in July 2016. And continues to be significantly successful. Pokemon as a franchise was massive in its own right, but Harry Potter is a step even above that. While details were scarce for the project, it was likely that Niantic was looking to repeat the formula here for more great success, since the game is also an AR game. But whether or not Harry Potter Wizards Unite would be different from Pokemon Go, or fail to escape its giant shadow, would remain to be seen. Niantic, to help beef up the tech on Wizards Unite, promising it wasn't just a Pokemon Go reskin, would feature all new tech and would acquire Escher Reality to make that possible, February 3rd, 2017. The acquisition would now allow for multiple player connections who all see the same object simultaneously, as well as create persistent AR worlds, which lead to the ability to have looting in an AR environment. More details about the mobile title would come in March 2019 in a hands-on with Eurogamer. Wizards Unite would have no teams, no houses to compete, and no competitive spellcasting against other players. Everyone would be playing on the same team, playing as a part of the Statue of Secrecy Task Force, with the choice of 3 different classes. The Auror, a spellcaster focused on defeating dark wizards, the Magizoologist, a tanky support focused on capturing magical beasts, and finally, a Professor, a class focused on discovering magic and etc. Instead of chasing and capturing Pokemon over the AR map that utilizes the real world, Wizards Unite would have you chasing after foundables, which is kind of the catch-all term meant to describe magical objects, items, creatures, and characters. It's like they couldn't figure out what was significant on its own as a gameplay loop, like Pokemon Go had built in with the whole collectible Pokemon, so they just picked all of them. So people would now be tracking these foundables across the world. With the ability to see and speak to familiar faces of the wizarding world, Wizards Unite was shaping to be Pokemon Go plus the extra bits that make Harry Potter what it is as a franchise, the characters, the story, and so on and so forth. The actual encounters themselves were different, of course, not using Pokeballs naturally. Instead, you'd have to cast a spell during an encounter by using the touchscreen, which was more active than Pokemon's approach. As in Pokemon Go, there are places that you can rest up the energy you need to cast these spells. These are called inns. In fact, the landmarks and locations in Wizards Unite uses the same database as Pokemon Go, and even Ingress, Niantic's first quiet mobile AR hit. The same month in Portkey Games' first Harry Potter title to launch on mobile devices, Hogwarts Mystery would launch, an RPG mystery as the name implies, and it was raking in 110 million in less than a year, which might not seem that relevant besides it just being another Portkey Harry Potter mobile game. But this kind of puts pressure on Wizards Unite before it even launches, because now there are even more expectations of the game just printing money. Niantic marketing boss Arshit Barjava would say that Wizards Unite was designed to be a game that would last decades, with a multi-year narrative arc, so Niantic was confident moving forward. Wizards Unite would go into beta April 2019, launching first in New Zealand before following it up with an Australia launch too. These locations kind of make sense in the whole outdoor-centric cultures, but I'm kind of surprised I didn't pick somewhere where people kind of just travel more outside or by using public transportation, like say Korea or Netherlands. At least those make more sense to me. Development for Wizards Unite didn't last that long, and Pokemon Go provided a foundation which helped with that. But perhaps there was something to be said about actually erring on the side of caution and testing and maybe not launching so quickly. Niantic's cocksure approach about Harry Potter Wizards Unite was awfully trusting in the whole Harry Potter spin on the Pokemon Go AR game being successful. This is quite obvious to say out loud, but the implications are more that if Wizards Unite is successful, it might not be enough success, and that's an awful lot of pressure on a title meant to be basically just a copy. Harry Potter Wizards Unite would launch June 21st, 2019. Wizards Unite would score a rather middling 64 out of 100 on aggregate review website Metacritic from 15 different critics. What limited user ratings exist on the internet, which might be telling in itself, are however more negative than this and for reasons we will cover later. IGN would score the new AR mobile title a 6.7 out of 10, describing the game as having magic, but plenty of frustrating quirks that hold back its wizardry. IGN highlighted how you needed certain ingredients to cast spells that you used on encounters, but ingredients are hard to get because of limited inventory space, probably by design, right? To get more space, you must purchase it with gold. No, not galleons, which sort of highlights the whole half-ass IP-ness of the whole project, really. IGN would state that Wizards Unite, unlike Pokemon Go, felt far more hamstrung by monetization and the design from such. Game Informer would score it a 7 out of 10, where they would be rather positive about seeing a cast of familiar characters, and even if it was slightly scuffed versions, as well as the familiar sounds and music. Though they would also acknowledge the same issues that IGN would, concerning the potion ingredients, exclaiming that the player is better off exiting the game for extended periods to brew potions and free up some inventory space, or spend money. Basically, Wizards Unite is even more pay to win than Pokemon Go, and I guess that's just because they thought Pokemon Go wasn't making enough money, right? Perhaps more damning, even for an oddly positive review, was the ultimate revelation that Wizards Unite, positives and all, still does end up feeling like a strange version of Pokemon Go, giving players flimsy reasons to catch or zap them all. Destructoid would probably say the most damning thing of all of the game reviewers in their 6 out of 10 review of Wizards Unite, where they would claim, beyond that feeling of individuality, I'm just not sold on what Niantic has created here. There are small annoying issues with storage, access to necessary potion ingredients, and the wild inconsistency of how well it rates my spell tracing. But the far bigger problem with Harry Potter Wizards Unite is its inability to utilize the IP and the technology in a way that is not only engaging, but also distinct from Niantic's other games. I have no doubt in my mind there is a great Harry Potter AR game out there. This just isn't it. In hindsight, Wizards Unite scoring at least a full grade below Pokemon Go is actually fairly impressive, when the biggest takeaway for the project from reviewers is that it's just awfully like Pokemon Go, with just less cohesion as an idea. The problem being that Pokemon Go didn't really score well either. It's not a title known for being impressive artistically either, being one of the worst Pokemon projects, arguably game-wise. The most impressive part of Pokemon Go is the whole hooking AR mobile technology and a database map with a simple collectible gameplay loop. That kind of technology is why we are covering Wizards Unite in the first place. Wizards Unite being a slightly better version than Pokemon Go is not really being any better, because if the audience isn't there, it's not like people are playing it for the game. What would make Wizards Unite viable would be creating interesting enough hook to utilize the serious star power of the Harry Potter IP, and then pumping in enough excitement to build some of that FOMO to get people playing. But that's not exactly easy to do, because it probably requires actually making a good game. And Niantic and Portkey were too little too late for that, as the launch of Wizards Unite, despite boasting one of the largest IPs ever, was launching to a resounding dud, and a deafening silence. You can't just grand open, grand close, and open up again kind of thing either, with the same level of hype. Augmented reality style games rely on the same thing that MMOs do to function, the FOMO, or the excitement of launching a new world. Since the game of the AR is the real world, if there aren't actually enough players or people involved, the game feels like one giant empty world by literal design. People even at launch were complaining that there weren't enough players to do content with, and Pokemon Go seemed to have orders of magnitude more in terms of reception. Our world is plenty beautiful, and the AR technology utilizing that and human ingenuity to create an experience is proper genius. But they were trying to do that on the back of a subpar game that takes every chance it can to nickel and dime you, which is not going to attract a proper fan base or impress anyone. When, well, AR is impressive. I really believe that augmented reality is a far more realistic and viable game option for online games than virtual reality is. At least at the moment with current technology. But we haven't been privy to a good game yet from the AR world. Instead, they seem to focus more on the insane monetization potentials with endurance systems resident to mobile devices. And Harry Potter Wizards Unite was proving to be no different, sadly. With the first month of revenue for a project supposed to print money lagging behind its stablemates, including many times mentioned Pokemon Go and the other Harry Potter mobile projects that were just milking cash. By 2020, Wizards Unite was already seeming like a footnote, with content offerings being quite slim, likely matching the fairly slim player base. This is also the year of COVID, so it kind of kills any desire to go out and play an AR game on your phone, right? And that has to be mentioned as a possible factor of the floundering of Wizards Unite in 2020. But as I have previously pointed out, Wizards Unite was floundering since launch, so if anything, COVID just exacerbated that. By April 29th, 2021, Harry Potter Wizards Unite was scraping by on $4 million made, while its older, simpler, and cheaper brother, Harry Potter Mystery, was making $300 million. Hell, even Harry Potter Puzzles and Spells, a match 3 game, was raking in $62 million. Because Niantic and Portkey made Wizards Unite as a title more focused on making money, when it fails to accomplish that goal, the writing's already on the wall. Especially when it's not cheap to run an AR game versus something like a match 3 game, right? Coming as no surprise to those watching the video now, but quite a surprise to those playing the game at the time, Wizards Unite would be announced to shut down November 2nd, 2021. No details were provided for the shutdown, only that the shutdown itself would actually be being carried out January 31st, 2022, with the app itself set to be removed on the stores December 6th, 2021. With all development ceased for Harry Potter Wizards Unite and a shutdown in sight, the future is all but decided for the mobile AR title. At $37 million earned from 20 million downloads since June 2019, Wizards Unite's numbers would be impressive had they not been compared to Pokemon Go's, which had made $1 billion in 2020 alone, which kind of cuts in half any argument about COVID killing Wizards Unite, right? But we still have a bit of a question mark concerning the abrupt shutdown. We don't have a definitive reason since they didn't list it in the shutdown press release. but I do believe we have accumulated enough clues at this point of the video to make our final deduction concerning the largest contributing factors of the death of a game, Harry Potter: Wizards Unite. Outshined and outperformed by stablemates. The game feels like Pokemon Go's little forgotten brother. Lacked proper brand support, another red-headed stepchild. Hodgepodge game design and game direction, and just a general lack of personality. The low population and buzz doomed this AR title. That's another closed case, detectives, and yet another title on this series caught standing too close to the sun, where it failed to leave that hefty shadow casted by its bigger brother. It's going to be something that probably fells another future title too someday, but the sadder story behind this case is the apparent underutilization and spotlight of augmented reality gaming. Augmented reality, or AR, gives us the ability to use our own huge and boundless world and create gameplay and experiences from it. It allows us to connect to players in only a way that a virtual reality game could rival, if the technology would catch up there. But it's being hamstrung by mobile titles that are merely using it as a perfunctory fashion, merely teasing the true capabilities of the technology or using it to make money. The games aren't good enough to warrant the technology or fully utilize it, and hopefully someday they will be. That's the video, guys. Thanks for watching.